We're ready. Good morning. Thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Xochitl Mora. I'm the Director of Communications for the City of McAllen and serving as the PIO for this year's South Texas All Hazards Conference. Thank you all so much for being here, especially our partners in the media who are instrumental during emergencies and helping us get vital information out to the community for emergencies or other disasters. Before we get started, I would like to recognize some of our honored guests and special guests here with us today, starting with the Honorable Pepe Cabeza de Vaca, Commissioner District 6 for the City of McAllen. We'll also be hearing from the Honorable Richard Cortez, Hidalgo County Judge. Joining us this morning as well is the Deputy Chief Alfredo Lozano of the RGV Sector for Border Patrol, and Chief Ricardo Saldaña, Emergency Management Coordinator for Hidalgo County. And we'll be hearing from the roster of speakers and partners that we have with us for not only this conference, but when we work during emergencies and disasters. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you would help me welcome the Honorable Richard Cortez for a few remarks. Judge.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 9th Annual South Texas All Hazards Conference. We're here today, and thousands of people are here today for the sole purpose of learning from one another in order for us to prepare ourselves to best serve our communities. This year, we've put particular emphasis on really helping those individuals with disabilities. We learned during this COVID pandemic that it was important for us to be able to communicate with all of our people, and sometimes that was a difficult thing. So we put an emphasis on communicating with people that are deaf. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Mora again. I want to thank all of you here. We have some excellent speakers. We have excellent experts in this area, and we welcome all of the news media to ask the right questions so we can communicate to our people the great things that are happening here in South Texas and our ability to try to prepare better for the future. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for your leadership, not only during the COVID pandemic, but for promoting Hidalgo County and the welfare of all of its residents. I'd also like to invite one of my bosses from the City of McAllen, our Assistant City Manager, Mr. Jeff Johnston, who also serves as our Emergency Operations Coordinator for City of McAllen. Thank you, Mr. Johnston.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And on behalf of Mayor Javier Villalobos, as well as our Commissioner Pepe Cabeza de Vaca, let me welcome all of you to the City of McAllen, to this great event, and all the esteemed guests that we have here. It's a pleasure to be here with these incredible people. You know, we live in an amazing part of the United States, and I know McAllen residents especially are blessed to live in one of the absolute safest cities in the United States of America. But safety and preparedness don't happen by accident, and that's the reason that we're here for this conference. We are safe, we're secure, because our public safety professionals each and every day go out there, do their difficult work, and along with incredibly professional work, they spend time to make sure that they're up to date on the latest techniques, the latest information, the latest details that allow them to do their jobs well each and every day. And that's why we're here. This 9th Annual South Texas All Hazards Conference is designed specifically to make sure that we give all of our public safety professionals the tools that they need to do their jobs and to keep us and our families safe with all that they do. Our police officers, our firefighters, public health, public works, emergency management, healthcare professionals, the list goes on and on of the people that work so hard each and every day. And so this is for them. It's an opportunity for them also to make sure that they're putting faces with names. There are incredible collaboration opportunities for all of the participants to make sure that when hard times come, and we know they will, that they'll know the people to call and have opportunities to work with them as they go through and continue to make our communities as safe as they possibly can be. So again, on behalf of the City of McAllen, we welcome you all here. Thank you so much. God bless the City of McAllen. God bless Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. I'd like to bring up my friend and our Assistant Chief for Region 3, Texas Division of Emergency Management, Tony Peña.
Thank you, ma'am. How are you? Welcome to the 8th annual. I was just telling Jeff, it's hard to believe, I'm sorry, 9th annual. One of those things about getting older, you tend to forget. So the 9th annual conference, it's hard to believe that the whole year's gone by, that we've put COVID behind us, that we've put a lot of things behind us, but we continue to work together, continue to collaborate, and we, TDM, the Texas Division of Emergency Management, is here to help and support any and all local efforts in any event we have. We enjoy working with our other state and local partners and federal partners, and it's just awesome to be here and be a part of this conference. I talked in my opening remarks about camaraderie, and that's one of the important things that occurs during one of these events. We tend to meet everybody else and meet each other, and we form friendships and we form relationships that are very, very necessary when it comes to an emergency response. So on behalf of TDM and the state of Texas, thank you all for allowing me to be here, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for your leadership. I would now like to bring up Mr. Dave Gruber, who is the Texas Department of State and Health Services Associate Commissioner for Regional and Local Health Operations. He got called out, which happens in so I'd like to bring up Mr. Tony Kreitz, Deputy Agency Director for Texas A&M Emergency Extension.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. TEACS is just very happy to be a small part of this conference. We've assisted with them through the 9 that we've been here, and coming down every year to help is just one of the things we really look forward to. And as Chief Peña said from the A&M system, this relationship building that occurs here this week really pays dividends in the response to any emergencies and disasters. The better you know somebody, the better it is when you get up to be on that first thing when the emergency occurs. And that's what I like about this conference, that ability to meet people, to build those relationships, to be able to tie that together and really spend some time working through some of the challenges that we all face across the state of Texas. And so thank you for being here, and we're just welcome to be a part of this, and thank you from TEACS and the state of Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kreitz. Thank you for your leadership and for your partnership with the City of McAllen and Hidalgo County. Please help me welcome from the RGV sector our Deputy Chief, Alfredo Lozano.
I just wanted to say a few words. It is a pleasure to be here, first of all, to be invited. And then we wanted to talk today to the crowd. And really what I talked to the crowd about today was something that I learned a long time ago that comes to mind. A Marine Corps general once said, generals win battles, but partnerships and resources win the war. And that rings true against every common threat that we faced, against every natural disaster that we've experienced. And that's just important to mention, that no single agency can actually operate alone. Our partnerships are vital to the well-being of this region and also to the United States. So again, the Border Patrol does have vast personnel resources that we have out in the field, but again, that could not be accomplished without our partnerships that are here today. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. As I mentioned at the start of the press conference, our partnerships with the media is vital to getting information out to the community, to all of our various members of the community. And part of that is also reaching those hard-to-reach communities, whether it is in Spanish or for our hearing-impaired community, as Judge Cortez referenced earlier, to our disabled community. And to talk about that, I'd like to bring up Dr. Lidia Fonseca, who is the Director of Operations for Valley Assisted Independent Living.
Hi. First of all, thank you for inviting me. And I'm very excited that this is happening. I've dedicated my research specifically to emergency management for persons with disabilities. And a lot of the recommendations were getting persons with disabilities in different categories, not just deaf, right? But persons with physical disabilities, cognitive disabilities involved in the planning and the preparedness and education of emergency management, not just for natural disasters, but also man-made. And it's coming to fruition. We're getting them involved. We're bringing them to the table. And I'd like to thank Mr. Eddie Olivares for this partnership and allowing us to be here. So with VAIL, we do a lot in terms of helping our community, people with disabilities, but one of the main projects that we have is to be able to teach American Sign Language to different first responders. So we'll go to the fire departments, we'll go to your areas in your cities, and we'll be able to provide those classes. But also what we're doing is we're taking the critical incident response training for active shooter training at another level. We have now developed an inclusive training where we're actually considering the needs of persons with disabilities and what that looks like in a school if an active shooter situation happens, or in a workplace if a person with a disability is employed there, and how they can also be included in that run, hide, fight training. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'm very excited, and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fonseca. We certainly appreciate your efforts in our community. This education for people with disabilities and people learning to deal with people with disabilities is so important. And one of our partners is, of course, McAllen ISD, and starting when they are very young. And so please help me welcome the director from the Regional Day School Program for the Deaf, Ms. Lisa Lara.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm honored to be here to advocate for our deaf community. So the Regional Day School Program for the Deaf is hosted by McAllen ISD. We provide services to over 300 students who are deaf and hard of hearing from 25 school districts in the surrounding area, from Roma to Mercedes. And we are here today because safety is always a priority for our students. And one thing that we've done in McAllen is that we've provided visual representation for alarm systems and different emergencies. We have blue strobe lights that our students and staff who are deaf and hard of hearing automatically are aware of. If there's an announcement that goes on and they see a blue strobe light, they know that they need to seek shelter and safety. And that is something that we want to encourage the community to put in place as well, because we need visual representation of emergency systems when they're not able to hear alarms. So I want to thank Mr. Olivares for inviting us and for giving me the opportunity to bring some of our students to learn about all the different programs that are out there for them that regarding their safety. So thank you all very much for having us today.
Thank you, Ms. Lara. And of course, one of the big messages and themes that we've been talking about with this conference is the partnerships and the relationships that are built. And I think everyone has just a wonderful relationship with our next speaker, our last speaker for the day, Mr. Eddie Olivares, who is the Chief Administrative Officer for Hidalgo County Health and Human Services, and my good friend.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I want to start off by saying that this is a groundbreaking event in many levels. One, of course, we have our partners from Vail and from McAllen School District that are targeting a specific community to deal with emergent situations. We have our partners from TEACS, and I need to express my thanks to TEACS. TEACS not only will help us from an educational point of view and be able to get accreditations, different coursework through Texas A&M, which in my opinion is the finest university in the world. No bias, but the reality is that TEACS itself can help us in our economy and our community. And let me explain how. They provide education via the internet, in person, in different locations, like here at this conference. Everyone is getting, who registered to TEACS, is getting TEACS credit. They'll get a certificate from Texas A&M. The law enforcement officials will get TCLOS credit. Economically, that is important for jobs. TEACS takes place in helping people get jobs. And I got a story to give. We responded to Hurricane Ike several years back, Hurricane Harvey. In fact, Chief Johnston and ourselves were out there along with Chief Peña and Chief Ovalle, helping the people of Ingleside, Texas. And I remember there was the forklift drivers, the backhoe drivers, et cetera. Well, after that event, I was at a restaurant, and one of the gentlemen comes up and says, you know, Mr. Olivares, I got a promotion. Really? He goes, well, because I took a class through TEACS. I needed to take an OSHA class, and the only place I could go was to take it in Corpus. I didn't have enough money to go to Corpus, but they offered it in Harlingen, and I went to Harlingen. Teeks helped that young man get a promotion within the city of McAllen. I mean, wow. So that's what Teeks is so critical to our community. Our partners that we have with emergency management, Chief Peña, my hat goes off to you, Chief Ovalle. TDEM is an extraordinary partner in helping with the response, and it's about relationships, like it's all been said. All of us here have seen each other in the worst of times and seen each other in the best of times. But more importantly, the new friends we're developing, the new partnerships we're developing, the expansion of our partnerships with different academic organizations. But I'm going to give you all credit, the media. You all don't get enough credit. You all are the biggest support for us when it comes to public education from the media perspective. As we know, social media is everything nowadays. You all have a direct impact on promoting safety, wellness, public health during all types of emergencies. So we thank you for being here, and we thank each and every one for taking part today. Ms. Mora, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you all who are here today to be a part of this training, whether you're an attendee or teaching. As we mentioned, it is so critical that we continue to get this training now when we are in regular times, as opposed to when we are in the middle of an emergency or disaster situation, and of course to work with our media partners to help get that information out and working with all of us. So if you have any other questions for any of the individuals who are here present, thank you. They can handle individual interviews, but thank you all so much for joining us this morning.